안녕하세요 여러분, 레미입니다. 오늘은 이제 첫 번째 Q&A를 준비했어요. 이 영상을 찍고 싶은 이유는 어제 구독자 300명을 달성했는데 오늘 벌써 500명이 됐어요. 진짜 너무 고마워요. 오늘 영상에서는 한국어랑 영어도 사용할 거예요. 왜냐하면 아직 한국어만으로 말하는 게 조금 힘들거든요. 네, 앞으로도 열심히 공부할게요. So let's start right away. 첫 번째 질문은 어디에서 왔어요? 저는 독일에서 왔습니다. 그리고 언제 한국 왔어요? 지금은 2년 정도 됐어요. So the next question was, why did I come to Korea? So I came to Korea to study. I'm currently making my master degree here in filmmaking. I made my bachelor degree in filmmaking as well in Germany. And during that time, I got quite intrigued with the Korean film industry because I find it quite fascinating how a country that's quite small in comparison to other countries produces like really good movies and dramas that are ranked really highly worldwide. And I personally enjoy the films and dramas made in Korea as well, so I wanted to learn how film production is being done here. So originally I just wanted to come to work here, but then I talked to a friend who then suggested to me a scholarship that she was using during that time in Korea. So I applied and I got accepted. So yeah, now I'm here on the Global Korean Scholarship. The next question was about my first days once I arrived here and how I managed to organize everything. Actually, how I got to my university is quite a funny story as well, because there are different ways how you can leave the airport once you arrive at Incheon. And for me, because I was alone, I thought a taxi was quite expensive, so I took one of the airport buses that got me as close to my university as possible. And then from there, I originally wanted to walk, but it was really steep and it was raining, so I got a taxi for the last couple meters. And here is where I made like a little mistake that, well, I don't know if I can call it a mistake, but anyways, at that point in time, I didn't really speak any Korean except for knowing like hello and thank you. So once the taxi driver came out to help me with my luggage, I just greeted him, was like, oh, 안녕하세요. And I think that gave him the impression that I spoke Korean, which I did not, and he continued to talk with me for the whole, I mean, it was a 5 or 6 minute drive, but I just couldn't say anything back. And then I gave him the address that my university gave me to go to the dorm, but somehow he took me somewhere else and he kept asking me something, I don't know what it was, and I kept just saying in English that I don't understand what you're saying. I was really stressed at that point, to be honest. So at one point I was just like, it's fine, I just get off. And this is where he let me off, and this is where I actually needed to go to my dorm, which I did not know because I was not familiar with my campus at that point. So I was just there with my suitcase during the rain, and I looked down a little hill and I see another girl also with a suitcase, and I think we were quite far away, but we looked at each other, and I think in that moment we both knew like we're gonna connect because we both were so lost. And yeah, that was my first friend that I made here, and she was also from Germany, actually on the same flight as me. Like, what are the odds? Anyways, and apparently we looked really sad standing there. That just, I think a couple minutes later, just a Korean guy, like I guess a student, walked by, and he asked us if we were looking for the dorm, and we were like yes, and then he explained us the way, and yeah, then we found it without much of a struggle. So much to how I got to the dormitory, and then the first night was quite interesting as well. I could go into my dorm right away, which was really nice. I just had to wait a couple of hours because I came after the opening, like the official opening times, which were until I think 5 p.m. and I arrived at like between 6 or 7, and then they had like a second opening at 10 p.m. to let everybody in who came afterwards. So we just went to have dinner, and then once I got to my room, I didn't have any blankets or anything really, so that was how I slept my first night in my bed. And then the next couple of days were just a lot of running around to Daiso or different department stores to get like blankets, pillows, and all the stuff that we need. Also, one question was about the SIM card. I'm using Chingu Mobile. I'm paying 26,000 Korean won a month. There I have different plans. With this one, I get free calls and texts. And I'm not sure if they're unlimited, but I never use them, so it feels unlimited to me. And I'm getting 16 gigabytes per month of fast internet, and after that I still have internet, it's just slower, but it still works, so it's not too bad actually. And for my bank account, I am with Uri Bank. For me that works quite well. I have some friends who prefer other bangs over that one, but I'm really happy I never had any problems. We had a lot of help though filling out the forms from the university, or better, I just trusted my university. They gave us the forms and we were just like, sign those 100 pages, and I swear I never wrote my name that many times. There was so much to sign, but yeah, I've been using the same bank account ever since. And yeah, that's how my first days passed by. The first 2 weeks kind of went by really quickly, and then language school already started for me, because if you come here with the scholarship I'm with, then you have to first do 1 year of language learning before you then can start your master degree. And there was another question I got, if I can give some tips for studying Korean. To be honest, I'm not completely sure if I'm the best person to give tips, because I'm still learning myself and I don't feel confident in my Korean skills yet. But I can tell you like what I noticed where I improved the most, or I think what improved my Korean the most. And for me, that is definitely reading and memorizing texts. While I was in language school, we had like language books, and they were like texts with always the appropriate vocabulary for like the level we were at, and then I would genuinely just memorize those texts. And then for some of the texts we also had the audio version, so I would listen to them again and again and again, like sometimes every morning for like 2 weeks I would listen to the same 10 1-minute audios, and that's I think what helped me the most getting like more familiar with the language. 그럼 다음 질문은 한국 언제까지 있을 거예요? So I have at least 1.5 years left of my master degree, so that's the minimum. And after that, 아직 모르겠어요. If I like it, I would love to stay a bit longer and work. If I don't like it, I go somewhere else. It's so far away, isn't it? The next question was, what are my classes like, or in general studying filmmaking? So this semester I have 3 classes. I have production design, sound design, and visual storytelling, I would say. And all 3 of those classes are lecture-like classes. Our classes are really small, like less than 20 people, I think more like 15. But most of the time the professor is speaking, or what we have a lot this semester is presentations, which I'm not a big fan. So last week I had to do like a 30-minute presentation about the sound design of a movie, and I was genuinely dying. But now it's done, now I'm happy anyways. And I have to write like a 10-page report for a different class. But the good thing is that because it's a more like practical and artistic master degree, we don't really have a lot of exams. I have like 1 class where there is like an end exam, but it's more like a test. I think it's 30 minutes or so, so that doesn't really count, does it? And then last semester, so my first semester, I also had a workshop class where everybody had to make their own short film. So I wrote and directed, and yeah, that was exhausting. Like, yeah, I'd rather write the reports, to be honest. But on the other hand, that's also the most fun, right? That's, I mean, why I study it, I guess. But yeah, a lot of work, and I have to do 2 more. So yeah, that will be a lot of work as well. Then one question I got quite a lot was about my portfolio, because when I applied for this university, I had to hand in either 2 previous short films I've done or 1 short film script. As I said, I studied film before, so I just handed in 1 short film, and then I had 1 middle-length film where I just cut out 10 minutes and I handed that in. And yeah, that was all that I did for my portfolio. The next question is, what do I usually do on my days if I don't have classes? If I don't have anything to do, to be honest, I really enjoy just staying at home. I really like reading a book or watching a TV show. Recently, I tried to get a bit more into painting again, but yeah, sadly there's not that much time, so not that much progress here. But yeah, most of the days I do have something to do, and then I like to go to coffee shops to study or read there or work on my scripts or help other people on their short films. For example, a friend of mine, she is making her first semester film this semester, and I'm doing the casting, so tomorrow I will go to a coffee shop and I will make the casting call online. So yeah, that's mostly what I'm doing. I don't know if you saw the video I uploaded last week where I went on my first hike in Korea, and I actually really enjoyed that, so I want to do that more as well. But that's always like a whole day activity, so I really have to look for 3 days to do that. But yeah, there will be more videos like that coming for sure, because that was really beautiful. 제일 좋아하는 한국 음식 뭐예요? 삼겹살이에요. 네, 한국 음식 중 한국 바베큐 네, 제일 좋아요. 진짜 맛있어요. 키 얼마예요? 저는 68cm입니다. 키 좀 커죠. And then we're already at the very last question, which is, what is my favorite movie? And that seems like a simple question, but it's really not. I don't know. But if I would have to pick just one thing, then I would pick not a movie but a drama, and I would pick Doctor Who. I don't know if you watched it, Doctor Who by BBC. It's a great show. It's a bit older, so I don't know if you haven't watched it, if it's that much. I mean, it's great, but like the effects are really old, and anyways, it's a great show. And then if we talk about Korean dramas, there are so many. I really cannot pick one, but one that I recently rewatched that I really enjoy is The Devil Judge. So I'm gonna just go with that, because otherwise it's gonna be too hard, and I'll be thinking about that for the whole day, and then this video will never be uploaded. So yeah, The Devil Judge, great drama, but there are so many others as well. So yeah, here we are at the end of the first Q&A. Thank you so much to everyone who asked a question and who watched the previous videos, and I really appreciate it all. Follow if you want to see what I post in the future, or if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye, annyeong!